Hello, everybody. Welcome into the PHLY Bets show presented by bet365. Download the bet365 app and use code PHLY365 when you sign up. Whatever the moment, it's never ordinary at bet365. Bet365 last weekend was very rude to me and took a lot of my money that I had worked very hard to build up. That was a rough sledding on the NFL slate last weekend. I think I personally went 2-4 overall, but the four that I seemed to bet were the games I love the most, and never works out well for you when that happens. So hopefully we can win some of that money back. What we're going to get into today is, of course, tonight's Thursday night football action. We got a little bit of a Friday night football action as well, in a big ranked game of the top 25 teams, and then the big college games on the slate this weekend. So let's get right into tonight's game. The New England Patriots at the New York Jets. The New York Jets on Bet365 are coming in at -6 currently. Could change by game time, but that's where they are as of right now. Over-under on this one is a fairly low one, 38.5. Now, this is the first time something in this head-to-head divisional matchup is happening in 25 games. The New York Jets are going to be favored against the New England Patriots for the first time in 25 games tonight. Pretty hard to believe, but the Jets have been bad for a long time, and Aaron Rodgers missed all of last year, so they didn't get to see the Aaron Rodgers-led Jets. The 24 straight meetings has been the longest active head-to-head streak of one team favored versus another in the NFL, courtesy of ESPN Stats and Info. That is a one-sided series. That's pretty hard to believe. All right. There is a bet boost up right now on the site, right there when you click on the tab for Patriots Jets. And this isn't even one I made, but this is one that's out there that I like. It's been boosted from plus 425 to plus 500. If you're unfamiliar with gambling, money lines, it's all on the 100 scale, meaning it's plus 500. You bet $100, you'll win 500. I think Aaron Rodgers is going to have a big game tonight. The Patriots are letting up 233 yards per game right now. I think they're 27th in the NFL. Granted, it's a very small sample size, only 2 games so far. But the boost is Aaron Rodgers 250-plus passing yards, Aaron Rodgers 2+ passing touchdowns, and Aaron Rodgers 20 or more completions. Kind of like that one a little bit, boosted up to plus 500. All right, first touchdowns. Always kind of a fun one to make. In a primetime game where you don't really care about the game at all. 2 that jumped out to me. If you want to bet a Jets first touchdown player, I'm not going Breece Hall. Too low odds. I like Garrett Wilson, plus 700. He was kind of a little PO'd last week during their game that Aaron Rodgers missed him on a couple open routes. So Aaron Rodgers, I could see feeding the beast there and making that up to him. Plus 700 is pretty good value. And then the other one on the Patriots side, if you think the Patriots can score first, Ramondre Stevenson is plus 600 as a first touchdown scorer. Both of those fairly decent value for 2 really good players. So coming off of last week, the Jets beat the Titans. Will Levis and his weirdness, went a long way for the Jets. The Patriots lost to the Seahawks. A couple injuries in this game. The Patriots could be without 2/5 of their starting offensive line. They are a team that does run 6 or 7 offensive linemen deep at times with some rotations. So they might be able to overcome that, but that's something pretty substantial in this game. CJ Mosley for the Jets is going to be a game-time decision. 74% of the bets are on the over, which always makes me think under. Anytime a game gets to 75% of the public action or more, and the line doesn't move much, I always go the opposite. The under has hit in the last 4 matchups between these 2 teams dating back to 2022. New England has covered the spread in both of their games this season. The over has hit in both Jets games this season. New England is 15-1 straight up in their last 16 games against the Jets. But as we said, that was Aaron Rodgers-less Jets era. So I don't put a lot of stock in that one. But I do love the Jets tonight. I'm a big Jets backer tonight. I'm going to lay it minus the 6. And I think they do get it done. But like I said, I think it's an under game. So I'm personally going to be betting the Jets. We'll see if I end up parlaying maybe the Jets and the under there. We'll see, with the great immediate cash outs from Bet365, if I hit that first touchdown, I might just hop in there live and bet some more. All right, there is a Thursday night college football game. And no, it's not Maction. Tonight, we have South Alabama versus Appalachian State in the Boone, North Carolina stadium. That is one of the cooler stadiums in college football. Major Applewhite, former college quarterback with a great name, has taken over the OC job for South Alabama and has them humming. They have put up 87 points against Northwestern State already this year, the most points in a single game in school history. And they have the Sun Belt Conference record for single games in a point. And it was the most points scored by an FBS team since 1991. So South Alabama's putting up points. Their defense sucks, though. It's suspect. It's on the road in a tough spot. They've allowed 415 yards and 3 touchdowns through the air just to North Texas in the opener. The secondary has followed that up with Ohio quarterback completing like 72% of the passes and a season high in terms of yardage. So I'm going to go over in this one. It's 62.5 on this one. I'm not going to pretend to know enough about the line. Appalachian State should cover that from everything I've read and researched. But I'm going to go with the over because these defenses stink. It's prime time in a big college spot, and I'm just going to maybe root for some points with a light little sprinkle on that game. All right, Friday night, we got college football, and this one's good. It's a top 25 matchup. One of the stories of college football so far is freshman phenom Dylan Raiola for Nebraska. He's got the Cornhuskers humming. They are hosting number 24, Illinois. Both teams are kind of on the up and up. Now, Illinois had a big win earlier this year versus Kansas, but Kansas has since lost to UNLV, kind of cheapening their big win a little bit there. They have a very good defense, Illinois does, though. So far, granted, only 2 or 3 games depending on the team, but they're 8th in FBS in points allowed. Now, Nebraska has been great. They're holding opponents to just 211 rushing yards and 555 passing yards through 3 games. So they're getting really good quarterback play, but Matt Rule has his defense humming a little bit. Each squad went 3-0 on the under for their first 3 games. A lot of the public money here is on the Nebraska Cornhuskers, probably because of baby Patrick Mahomes, Dylan Raiola. Very creepy vibe that he just is going to end up wearing Patrick Mahomes' skin one day, it looks like. 64% of the public money so far as of this morning were on the Cornhuskers, with 72% of the money line wagers. And I know I just told you that 75% theory. I just don't like Illinois enough to back them in this one. I will personally be taking Nebraska with the 7.5. Might buy that down to 7 just to put the push in play. But I like the Cornhuskers a little bit. I don't love them. All right, locally for you Penn State sickos, we got Kent State at number 10 Penn State this weekend up in Happy Valley. Now, this is one of these games where I look at the over-under and I look at the spread and I go, is Penn State really going to keep Kent State to 6 or less points? Because that's basically what these two spreads are telling you. Penn State is favored by 49 points right now on Bet365. Over-under on this one, 55.5. That's only a 6.5 point differential. So when you do the math, you're like, is Penn State really going to keep them under to 6 points? Their offense has struggled a little bit at points this year. I'm going to take Kent State in the points. Give me a lot of teams with 49.5 points. Drew Aller and the Penn State offense, certainly good, but maybe not world beaters. So, it takes a lot to beat a team by 49 points. So give me the dogs barking up at Penn State this weekend. All right, a couple of the other big games. This is a big one. USC, who's number 11 in the country, is heading to the big house. Number 18, Michigan, whose ass is on the griddle a little bit. This spread is USC minus 5.5. Over-under on this one comes in at 44 points. Now, this is kind of cool because it's the Big Ten opener for USC, which sounds weird. Still hasn't really fully registered that they're a Big Ten school now, but there's no bigger place to play than the Big House. I don't think USC will be intimidated by the environment there. The USC offense has been really good this season, but that's not the story of the team. The story of the team right now is that the defense has completely revamped itself from last year. Last year, the USC Trojans defense was allowing 34 points per game. So far this year, they're allowing only 10 points per game by their opponent. That is substantial. Now, Michigan's point differential, they're missing J.J. McCarthy. They're missing Blake Corum. They're missing Jim Harbaugh. They're kind of picking themselves up by the bootstraps here a little bit. So far, their point differential through 3 games is only plus 11. They're fighting and scraping to get by. So USC leads this series all-time 6-4, but they have not played each other since the 2007 Rose Bowl. I kind of love USC a little bit here, minus the 5.5. So I'm gonna take USC there, minus 5.5. I'm gonna go over on this one, which is the 44. So I'm gonna, maybe a parlay. Maybe I just play USC straight. I definitely like USC more than I do the over/under. So that's my play in a big one there. That should be a pretty cool environment at the Big House. All right, UCLA is traveling to Death Valley to take on the number 16 LSU Tigers. LSU right now on bet365 is minus 24. They've been a 24 or more point favorite once so far this season, and they did not cover it. They're 0-3 against the spread in general this season. UCLA also 0-2 against the spread. So something's got to give there. The total, here's one to keep an eye on. The total in LSU's games have gone over 18 of the last 20 games they've played. So that trend tells you this game's going over the 56.5. UCLA is 1-5 against the spread in its last 6 games as an underdog. I don't like laying that many points with LSU. That being said, it's probably going to be a blowout. Give me the over on this one, 56.5. All right, another big up slate this weekend. The Utes, the number 12 Utah, is heading to Mike Gundy's house to take on the number 14 Oklahoma State. If you look at the money lines on this one, it's basically a 52 to 48% coin flip type of scenario here. Oklahoma State currently is minus 2.5. Over-under on this one comes in at 52.5. No real trends or feeling. I do have a gut just over reaction reading this game and reading some of the research. So I'll probably dabble a little bit on the over 52.5. Utah this year is 0-2 against the spread. OK State is 2-1. It's only the second time in history they faced one another. The first meeting, we all remember this one. It was a barn burner in 1945. 46-6 win by the Oklahoma State Cowboys in Salt Lake City. So no real strong feeling on that line. Like I said, this is a coin flip kind of game on that spread, but I do have a gut reaction to the over on this one. All right, the game of the week. Number 6, prime time, SEC, Saturday night. You are looking live. Number 6, Tennessee, and their quarterback is one of the stories of college football this year. He is tearing it up. He hasn't even played a full game yet. Tennessee is steamrolling people. Tennessee's quarterback has 700 passing yards through 3 games, and he hasn't even played full games yet. They have beat teams 69-3, 51-10, and 71-0. They don't care who is in their way. James Pierce on the defensive line for Tennessee could be in play for the number 1 overall pick next year. So he gets a big-time SEC stage to make his name a household name this year. I don't know about you guys out there, but I've been betting a long time. And Oklahoma, to me, always is a team that has a choke moniker in my head. For right or wrong, I always feel like they come up small in big games. They can score. They're an offensive team. I'm not trying to poo-poo the Oklahoma Sooners, but to me personally, I always kind of fade them. And, it probably ends up working out 50-50 at the end of the day. But I'm going to go with Tennessee here. I'm going to lay the 7. It's at Oklahoma. I'm going to go with the road team and the big spread. Over-under on this one is 57.5. I'm certainly not betting an under in Tennessee, Oklahoma. So those are my plays. To recap some of them, Julia has a very beautiful graphic here that we can share with you. The first one tonight, a little same-game parlay I cooked up on my own. I'm laying the Jets minus the 6. I told you I love those. I'm going Aaron Rodgers. The Patriots are allowing 233 passing yards a game, and this is Aaron Rodgers. Maybe he was a little out of rhythm, a little out of sync in the first 2 games. I think he has a big game tonight. And this is the hard part of the parlay, which really juices it up to that plus 3,300. Garrett Wilson, first touchdown scorer. So if you like game-long parlays where you're always alive, this is not for you. This could be over at the first touchdown of the game. So that's why you get the plus 3,300 there on the odds. The bet number 1 that I really liked, give me the Kent State and the plus 48.5 points. Just way too many points to me. Penn State's going to win by a lot, substantially, but by 49 points, I don't know about that. Give me Kent State. And then the last one, USC, Michigan. I think Michigan's a little bit in shambles, so I'll lay the 5.5 with USC. Huge game for them, new conference, tough road environment, but I will take the Trojans in that one. So hopefully there's some information in there that can help you decide where you're betting this weekend. Those are my thoughts after doing some research here. But, of course, you should be making your bets with Bet365. There's $200 available out there right now for new users when you use code PHLY365. They are awesome. What out, Spiral Out? Thanks for tuning in, my man. So if you're a new customer, take advantage of that bonus bets. Make sure you're always looking at their custom boosts out there. We're going to be doing some custom PHLY boosts. I'm 1-1 on the year. We did hit a plus 551 the first week, so I'm hoping I can bounce back with this week's parlay boost for the people. But download the Bet365 app. Use that code PHLY365. Thank you so much for hanging out for this week's edition of Thursday College PHLY Bets. We're going to be back on Sunday morning going through the rest of the NFL slate, but hopefully we can get some money under our belts to be ready for Sunday. Thanks for tuning in, everyone, and best luck on your bets. As an old friend used to say, root 'em in!
We all silly like the mayor.